Welcome to Venue Marketing 101, a free educational video series for eventtechs powered by Snappening, an event technology company helping you find places to host parties and the pros that plan them, and the Venue Marketing Society, an online community dedicated to answering real venue owners and managers about their daily marketing challenges. Well, hi there. I'm your host, Crystal Grave, the founder, president, and CEO of Snappening, and I'm also the author of the industry's ultimate guide to venue marketing, How to Market an Event Venue, a free downloadable guide to marketing venues from scratch with more than 300 pages of useful tips, ideas, stories, and real-life examples to immediately supercharge any venue's marketing plan. Feel free to connect with me on Twitter and a host of other places if you'd like. I'd love to hear from you. Hey everybody, we're back again this week with our Venue Marketing 101 video series. Just in case you missed episode 1, I want to suggest you give that a quick listen first and then catch up to any of these future episodes. Episode 1 really sets the tone for our discussions about venue discoverability. It helps define the venue discoverability model, and it highlights the 5 steps we're going to showcase over the course of a year with each episode in the series. In other words, episode 1 really helps all these other episodes make a lot more sense. You don't need to watch them all in order to get something out of them, but doing so may help some viewers plan their marketing strategies a little better. And we'd be doing you no favors if we didn't make a video series with something extra in the value department, right? Something you can use right now and see immediate results. That's where our individual episodes featuring more than 50 solid venue marketing ideas come into play. Each video gives you a few nuggets of solid marketing advice that's been tailored specifically for venue owners and managers. Some little aha or oh right idea that you can easily incorporate into your daily routine. So please feel free to join us weekly right here on our YouTube channel as we explore this topic all year long and add value to your week. Hey there, welcome to today's episode number 10. It's all about networking and doing it like a boss, and not like the crazy person that shoves business cards in people's hands for no apparent reason. Don't be that person. Let's talk more about how becoming a networking maven is one of the most critical building blocks in your venue influence building model. Just a quick reminder about where we are in this video series. Right now, we're focused on 11 ideas for Circle 1, in-person influence. You can see that here in the upper left corner. This is our nucleus of influence, and it makes sense as the best place for us to start because if we grow this area, we're also going to grow our overall venue discoverability. We're going through our first 11 ideas related to in-person influence right now. After we finish this section, we'll move on to the next circles later in the series. Sometimes we look at others who are superstar networkers and wonder how they do it. Are they just born with charisma? A gift for gab, the powerful skill of meeting nearly anyone, finding a charming connection, and making a useful opportunity present itself for a natural next step? It certainly looks that way at times, doesn't it? Especially if you're the one watching from across the room, clinging to a wall, holding your drink, desperate for a reason to throw yourself back into the stranger meeting game. As tempting as it may be at times, you're missing a huge opportunity if you're always stuck in the office. So the question arises, how do you become a better networker, and how do you find a networking style that fits your unique personality? Let's talk for just a bit today about 3 things you need in order to develop this skill: a place, a pattern, and a plan. Okay, I want to talk for just a second about the first item I mentioned, place. One of the very first things you've got to do is decide where you're going to network. Now, this certainly isn't a one-size-fits-all type of decision. You're going to have a bunch of different choices depending on where you live and if you're in a small town or a massive city. And while choices can be great, they can also be crippling if you have too many. I've been in this situation myself, so I know. Next, you have to take your schedule into account. Not everyone is going to have the same amount of time to network, but you do need to make sure you dedicate some time in your schedule each week to do some networking. It's simply that important in your influence building program. So basically, you need to review your networking opportunities and decide well in advance which ones are most important for you to add to your calendar. Here's an example of a bunch of places where you can network: large group networking events, intimate dinners and small cocktail gatherings, educational sessions designed for industry peers, trade group leadership meetings, especially if you sit on the board or committees of any of those trade groups, volunteer events and training sessions, galas and other philanthropic parties and events, and referral and vendor parties, open houses, and receptions. I hope you can see that these sorts of events are of all shapes, sizes, and settings, and some require more networking game than others. Speaking of networking game, that brings me to my second must-have to be a master networker.
occur, and that's a pattern. Once you've decided which activities you'll add to your calendar, you have to decide how you're going to network. This is entirely driven by your own comfort zone and your personality type. Remember that big event I was talking about just a second ago where you were clinging to a wall? If the thought of being at an event like that gives you sweaty palms just thinking about it, guess what? You probably shouldn't start by doing a bunch of those. Rather than feeling like a networking failure before you've even left the office, try settings that fit your speed first and then work your way up to more intimidating networking scenes. If you already know you're great in small groups but really can't find your way at events with 100 plus people, stick to small groups and make time for those in your schedule first. Then, once you're hitting your networking groove, ask friends or colleagues to come along with you to the larger events so you already know you have someone to talk to and a pal around with while you're there. In addition to having a wingman or woman, it's also great to have a quick elevator intro ready to go. If you're not sure what that should be, spend some time practicing the basics. Your name, where you work, what you do there, and how you're connected to the event are always sure bets. You also need to be ready to ask the people you meet questions about themselves, so arm yourself with some of those too. In case you're not sure what makes a good networking question, we've added several resource links in the video description you can check out so you have several lists of examples. After you've identified your networking places and your pattern, you need to decide on what your end game is. What's your plan? Only you know what outcomes you're trying to achieve, both personally and professionally. Is it just a matter of meeting a bunch of new people, or is there a strategy? I personally would rather meet less people, but have more time to get to know those people. That's why I struggle with that merry-go-round style of those massive events. You can't get into a conversation long enough with anyone to actually learn anything about them. And I really like learning. I much prefer smaller settings where someone I know can introduce me to a new person, and I can get to know them too based on the first person's recommendation. One of the first things I noticed when I started my company several years ago was the sharp uptick in job changes the events and hospitality industry has. I clock it at nearly 20% per year, so that means for me, 1 in 5 of all my industry colleagues does not end the year at the same place they started. And that's a lot to keep up with as a peer, but it's also an enormous opportunity to meet an entirely new batch of people at a new organization if your pal switches jobs. This sort of organic networking is really a sweet spot to master if you get the chance in your own city. So are you all geared up to go out and do some networking now? I certainly hope so. For some of you, that's going to mean stepping way outside your comfort zone, which brings us to the next episode number 11, which is all about doing just that, stepping outside of your zone, your comfort zone that is. In that episode, we're going to talk about how to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, how you can stretch yourself to do more here, and how you can enjoy the fruits of your labor by enjoying more growth as a reward for your hard work.
If you've enjoyed this video and thought to yourself, you know what, it would be mighty handy to have some more content like this and some people to talk to on a regular basis about my venue, and somewhere to ask questions right as I think of them, well then, I have just the place for you. Pop on over to Facebook and visit facebook.com/groups, Venue Marketing Society, no spaces, and connect with us now. We have daily prompts about venue marketing ideas, real challenges people are facing, and other cool things we're finding online. We've also included a link to our group down in the video description here on YouTube to save you a step. I've also mentioned our free downloadable ebook a couple of times in the video, and in case you'd like more learning like this, but want to take it at your own pace and snag a copy of your own, you can grab this link and get the book down in the summary for the video, or you can head over to the blog post mentioned on the screen. Just complete the download form on the blog and poof, you're all set. You'll also receive more exclusive content when you sign up for the ebook that will help you with your learning over the next several weeks. We'd love to socialize with you. Join us online in any of the channels you see here. It'll be great to chat with you. The Venue Marketing 101 video series is created, produced, and licensed by Snappening. We extend our thanks to our production team and the artists who have helped contribute to the work showcased in this video. That's all for today's episode. We look forward to having you join us for the next one right here on our YouTube channel. Your likes and comments on this video help guide our team's future content roadmap, so share the love below if we're helping you in your venue marketing journey, and let us know how we could help you even more in the future. If you'd like to be notified about episodes as soon as they're released, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/snappening.